You're watching Mirror 7 News. Stay informed, stay ahead for more news.
For decades, turning 65 was seen as the golden ticket to retirement in Canada, the moment when people could finally step away from the grind and enjoy full old age security, that is OAS, and Canada Pension Plan, that is CPP, benefits. But that once clear finish line is shifting fast. The idea of retiring at 65 inches is fading as Canada faces an unprecedented wave of aging workers, longer lifespans, and a labor market that's already feeling the pressure. By 2030, every remaining baby boomer will be 65 or older, marking the largest retirement surge in Canadian history. At the same time, the country's workforce is shrinking, and immigration slowdowns mean there may not be enough newcomers to fill the gap. Economists are calling it peak aging, warning that by the next decade, 1 in 4 Canadians will be over 65. The traditional balance between workers and retirees, once 7-1 in the 1970s, could fall to just 2-1. That's a massive economic shift, and it's forcing the federal government to rethink how retirement should work in a modern, longer-living society. Recent adjustments to OAS and CPP are part of this new reality. Instead of enforcing a hard change to the retirement age, the government is using incentives to nudge Canadians to stay in the workforce longer or delay collecting benefits. Deferring CPP payments from age 65 to 70 now increases monthly benefits by 42%. For OAS, waiting until 70 can mean a 36% boost. Essentially, those who can afford to wait are being rewarded with greater financial security later in life. A necessary trade-off in a world where retirement might last 25 to 30 years instead of 10 or 15. And let's face it, the cost of living plays a huge part in this shift. Seniors today face far higher expenses than their parents ever did. In 2025, the average single retiree in a major city might spend around $3,400 a month on housing, food, healthcare, and transportation. Yet, combined OAS and CPP benefits average roughly $1,500 monthly, less than half of what's needed to live comfortably. That gap pushes many Canadians to keep working past 65. Whether full-time or part-time. Other countries, like Germany, are tackling similar challenges by offering tax-free incentives for older workers to stay employed longer. Canada, meanwhile, seems to be taking a softer approach, giving people flexibility rather than raising the official retirement age. But make no mistake, the message is clear. Retirement is no longer a fixed age. It's a financial strategy. So while 65 might still mark a milestone, the new reality for Canadians is all about timing, planning, and adapting. The golden years are still there. They just might arrive a little later than before. Canada's retirement at 65 fades as a new era begins. For decades, the number 65 symbolized a milestone in Canadian life, the age of retirement, of stepping back, collecting old age security, that is OAS, and Canada Pension Plan, that is CPP, benefits, and enjoying a well-earned rest. But that familiar benchmark is changing fast. The traditional idea of retiring at 65 is quietly being redefined, as longer lifespans, labor shortages, and economic realities reshape what retirement really looks like in Canada today. We're now witnessing one of the biggest demographic shifts in Canadian history. By 2030, every remaining baby boomer will have turned 65, meaning millions of experienced workers are on the verge of leaving the labor force. This wave of retirements could strain the country's economy, especially as fewer young workers are available to replace them. And it's happening at the same time the federal government is rethinking how and when people should collect their benefits. In 2025 and 2026, new adjustments to OAS and CPP are rolling out, marking a turning point in how Canadians plan for the future. The average life expectancy has climbed from around 71 in the mid-20th century to over 82 today. So people are living nearly 2 decades longer after retirement. That's a major financial challenge for public pension systems that were built for a very different time. To put it in perspective, back in 1970, there were about 7 working Canadians for every retiree. By 2035, that ratio will drop to just 2-1. It's a dramatic change, and it's forcing policymakers to make tough choices. Rather than cutting benefits, the government is encouraging people to work longer or delay collecting their pensions. The goal is to make the system more sustainable and to reward those who can wait. Here's how it works. Delaying CPP from age 65 to 70 can boost payments by up to 42%, while holding off on OAS can increase benefits by 36%. So in practical terms, waiting a few extra years could mean hundreds of dollars more each month. A big difference for retirees trying to keep up with rising living costs. And speaking of costs, that's another major factor. Across cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Ottawa, housing, food, and healthcare expenses have all soared since 2020. The average senior now spends over $3,000 a month on essentials, nearly double what typical OAS and CPP payments cover. Many Canadians simply can't afford to stop working yet, and some even say they choose to stay employed for the social connection and purpose it provides. The government insists it's not forcing anyone to delay retirement. Rather, it's offering flexibility and choice. Still, in practice, the message is clear. The age of automatic retirement at 65 is over. Canadians are being asked to rethink what retirement looks like, not as an end, but as a new, flexible chapter that lasts much longer than before. Stay subscribed for more videos.